What's up, YouTube friends? So today I'm in my epoxy shipping room, and today I'm going to show you how to make resin coasters my way. They're pretty easy. Now the things you're going to need to make these resin coasters are a mold. I made this one. There's a lady here on YouTube where I got the idea from, and I'll link her video down below, but it's very simple. This is just a silicone sheet that I got off of Amazon, and then I went ahead. You can see on the back I drew a circle. Then with clear silicone caulking, you need to make sure it's 100% silicone. I then went around my lines kind of in a jaggedy shape, a freeform shape to look like a geode. I let that dry completely. After that, I filled it up with water to make sure there was any leaks. If there were, you just want to go around the outside with more silicone just to make sure you dam all that up. And also with a soapy finger, I went around the inside to make that as smooth as possible. Now it is still rough, but you just want to get it as smooth as possible so there's not so many sharp edges. You're also going to need some epoxy. Today I'll be using the Pro Marine. I also get this on Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper than the Amazing Clear Cast, but I do like that also. And if you do get the Amazing Clear Cast, make sure you get clear. I went to Hobby Lobby and I accidentally grabbed the white. They were in the same box. It did say white on the box, but they looked exactly the same. And the reason why I grabbed this is I could use my coupon with this one. On the other size, I believe it's double the size of this bottle. You cannot use your coupon at my Hobby Lobby. Today I'm going to be doing a purple geode coaster, so I have some purple acrylic paints. I got some purple and white glitters. I also have a chunkier white glitter that I'm going to put in the center of them. And I also am going to use some alcohol ink. Now you could use just alcohol ink, you could just use acrylic paint, you could just use glitter. But I'm going to do a mixture of all three. Now for my coaster mold, I know this takes about 50 to 60 milliliters of epoxy per coaster. So I have that right here. And the Pro Marine is 50-50. So I have 100 milligrams of the epoxy and then 100 milligrams of the hardener. And I'm just going to mix those together. Now usually I do this the other way. I'm kind of messing up. Usually I add the hardener to the epoxy, but this way works also. And actually, I'm going to move it to a bigger cup. If you could see, I got my camo jumpsuit on. I actually made this just to keep the epoxy off my clothes. And now with my silicone spatula, I'm just going to mix this together. Now at first it's going to look cloudy and you just want to keep stirring until it turns clear again. And you kind of want to stir gently because you don't want all those air bubbles. When I'm doing cups, it's such thin layers, I just stir it like crazy just to get it stirred together. But if it's something filled like this or a mold, I do stir a little slower just to not get as many bubbles into it. Now of course you just want to use all safety precautions. It does recommend that you do wear a mask when you're mixing up this epoxy. The fumes can be toxic. And if you want to wear gloves or anything like that, sometimes it does have a tendency to burn people's hands. It does not bother me at all though. Alright, so now I'm going to pour some in my cup. So these first three I'm going to pour an even amount in. Maybe about halfway up my little Dixie cup. And in this last cup, I'm only going to put about a quarter full of epoxy. And that's just going to be for our center little geode crystals. And the rest of this I'm just going to leave clear. So for the one that's the least full, I'm going to add my chunky pearlescent glitter. Give that a stir. Now for their outer rings, I want it to be my darkest color, so I'm going to be using the Royal Violet paint. And you only need a couple drops. Maybe. Mine looks a little chunky, but that's okay. It should mix in. Actually, I'm just going to throw that away. And remove that dry bit. Just like that. In another cup, I'm going to use my purple alcohol ink, and I'll put about 3 or 4 drops in. And also I'm going to add this white glitter just a little bit that actually has some blue flecks in it. And you can use whatever you want. This is just my example. Maybe like 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then just mix that in. Finally, I'm just going to put a little bit of the petunia. And I'm only going to put a drop. I want this really light. And then just a little bit of my purple glitter. It's more like a purpley red. Just like that. And you also want your heat gun ready. And just for a little PSA, do not try to remove the excess epoxy off of your on-off switch using an X-Acto knife. Ask me how I know. And the sad thing about it is I hit my fatty meaty part right here that constantly bends. Don't do it. So the first color I'm going to grab is my darkest purple color. And I'm just going to pour a ring around the inside edge of each of my molds. Now I probably could have evenly distributed that a little bit better, but it should be fine. So now I'm just going to grab my second darkest color. And I'm just going to pour a puddle right in the middle of each of my coasters. Next, I'm just going to take a little bit of clear and I'm going to pour it right in the middle, right over that purple I just stuck in there, and just a little bit. The clear just helps define the layers and the colors when these all set together. Now I'm just going to take my third purple and do the same thing. So now I'm just going to go back with my clear. And I'm just going to evenly distribute the rest of the clear in all 4 of the coasters. And finally, I'm going to take my chunky pearlescent and then just divide that right in the centers of each coaster. And now using your heat gun, you just want to go around and pop any of the bubbles on the top. And I'll actually come back a second time and hit that with the heat gun when all the other little bubbles rise to the top. So now you just want to let this set until it dries completely. I like to let it set overnight, so usually about 8 to 12 hours before I unmold them. But in the meantime, here is a set that I made with green and yellow. And actually when I poured them, I really didn't like it. The green and the yellow just kind of mixed together too much for my taste. So then I went ahead and I dripped blue alcohol ink, topped with white alcohol ink, and then just swirled a little bit to get that nice effect. Now to finish these off, I just take my rotary tool with a sanding drum and I go around the outside just to knock down any of the rough edges. Now it's going to be very organic and very rock-like, which I don't mind, but you just don't want any of those sharp edges. No, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want the dust to fall on these coasters. But I already have one done right here. You can kind of see the blue swirl a little bit better in this one. So now just using a gold paint pen, I got these off of Amazon. And if you're going to use it for your coasters, designate one just for coasters because it's going to ruin your little nib. And so what I like to do is just go along the outside. Try not to get any on the front or the bottom. And just paint the edge gold. Just like that. Now you could keep it like that, but for me, it's too shiny. I need to dull it down a bit. So here's one that I already have dried. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this black distressing ink. I'll just dab my finger in it and then just rub it along the edge. And it just dulls down that shiny gold. And if you can see the difference, this is the one without the distress, and then this one has the distressing ink. So you can see the difference. I really like this one better. But hey, they're your coasters, do what you want. And that's how simple and easy these are. Now here is a set that I made for me and Mother with blue, and I think they turned out great. I used gold in the center. And I also made a set for my brother using red and orange, and they looked very fiery and cool. Now I'll go ahead and unmold these tomorrow before I put up this video, and I'll put a picture of the finished product just so you can see it. Alright guys, so it's the next morning, so let's unmold these purple coasters. So I just like to carefully just kind of peel it back because I don't want to ruin my mold. And here is what it looks like. So now I'll just unmold the other ones so you can see those too. I really like how these turned out, and I don't know if you can see it so well, but there's little striations between the paint and the alcohol inks, and I think it turns out really cool and really natural looking. And here's the last one. So now all I'm going to do with my mold is carefully wash it with some soap and water and let it dry, and it's ready for the next set of coasters. I also like to show you a few more of the cups that I'll be putting up on my Etsy shop. Here's the first one. Now on all of them I did a crackle finish, and then I just laid over a temporary tattoo and then sealed it with epoxy. I really love how you can see the crackle finish through the tattoo. Here is the next one. It kind of has a cherry blossom theme and roses. I really liked how the colors turned out on this one. And finally, this would probably have to be my favorite one. It kind of has a barbed wire and rose theme. And this one turned out really good. Like I said, I will be putting this up on my Etsy shop, so don't forget to go over there and check it out. So I hope you liked this video on how to make these quick and easy coasters. They make perfect Christmas gifts and they're very unique. If you like this video and want to see more of my videos, go down below and hit the big red subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. Check out my links down below to my Etsy shop as well as my other social medias if you'd like to follow me there or maybe buy something. If you have a question about this video or any of my other videos or would just like to leave a suggestion for a future video, leave me a comment. And as always, thanks for watching, happy crafting, and I'll see you next time.